This is podcast of Slow Compounding. Through this podcast, we try to provide you real-time information that is sometimes clouded by market noise. We try to present valuable lessons that may help you to be a better investor. Hope you will enjoy listening to this podcast. Hi guys, in today's podcast, we are going to talk about how market sentiment works and how that could be very far from the reality. Let us talk about Aarti Industries in this context. You all probably know, at least those who are tracking Aarti Industries probably know that since they have published their last quarterly result, after that Aarti Industries share price is under continuous pressure. We have seen a lot of corrections started happening from that point. Now, obviously, when the market completely corrected, obviously Aarti Industries share price will also follow the same trend. But if we see the price fall of Aarti Industries even more than the market. Now, there are a lot of negative sentiment accumulated for Aarti Industries. Let us, name all those negative sentiment one by one. Number one. In the last quarterly result, what we have seen that one long-term contract has been terminated, and because of that, there has been a negative sentiment. Because Aarti Industries has already built chemical plant for delivering all the long-term contract, and if that contract has been terminated, what is going to happen with that asset that they have built recently? With this, the market sentiment turned to the negative. Moving to the next, Aarti Industries is having the revenue breakup. It is 60% of the revenue is coming from India, and next 40% of the revenue is coming from abroad. And some portion of this abroad revenue actually coming from Europe. Since the war broke out, you have seen that a lot of uncertainty has developed because of the supply chain disturbance, and there is the reason why market anticipate that the business Aarti Industries does with the Europe, probably there is going to be some level of disturbance. That is the reason the market had set another negative sentiment on top of this company. Now, moving to the next sentiment, that is the price of the crude oil. Now, many of us actually knows that Aarti Industry works on benzene derivative, and for the benzene derivative, it's organic chemistry, and for all the organic chemistry, the basic building blocks are from crude derivative. So if the crude price gets higher, obviously the crude derivative price will get also higher. That is kind of the raw material of Aarti Industries. And if the raw material price goes up, obviously the market anticipates that their margin, their profit margin will get hampered. So this is another negative sentiment. So you see there are three negative sentiment. First, long-term contract termination, then their European business. What is happening with that? This is another negative sentiment. And then we are having crude price, the raw material price hike. That is another negative sentiment. And because of all those things combined together, we have seen a lot of price correction has taken place in this share. Now, let us see what all facts we have. In the last con call, the same question has been asked by the analyst to the management. What is going to happen with the facility, the chemical plant that Aarti Industries has set to deliver the long-term contract that has already been terminated? The management clearly told that the plant that they have set, this is not going to go waste. They are going to utilize the same plant, because a lot of plants are multi-purpose plant. Like using the plant, many other types of chemical also could be manufactured. So using the same asset, they can utilize that asset in a different way. So this has already been clarified during the last con call. So this sentiment that the market has already developed during the quarterly result, that has already been clarified during the con call. Now let us move to the next one, that the European business, what is going to happen with the European business. Now, Aarti Industries management in the day before yesterday, they have published an announcement. They said that the European business they are doing perfectly fine. There is no significant change in the business they used to have in earlier days. So this has also been checked and clarified by the management that there is no uncertainty, there is no problem happening with Aarti Industries business of the European part. Now, the last part, which is the crude price volatility. In the last con call, that period, if you refer, that time the war has already not broken out, but there has been a lot of tension between Ukraine and Russia. And that time the crude price, I still remember the price was $90, and from 90 it was inching up to 95, 97. So the crude price was already moving upward direction. So analysts asked this question. So what do you think that if the crude price goes up, what is going to happen in the profit margin? In response to that, the management clearly said that what all long-term contracts they have, Aarti Industries is having this flexibility to pass on the hike in the raw materials price. So any raw material price they are going to have, they will not impact the profit margin of Aarti Industries, because these are long-term contract, and as part of the contract they can pass on this price to the customer. So you see, these are 3 points on which markets are mostly developed the negative sentiment on Aarti Industry, and this is what we see in the share price also. So you see how negative sentiments are being formed and how that could be very much detached from the reality. And just one disclaimer, we do not have Aarti Industries in our portfolio. We really think this company is really good and having long term visibility of earning. And we keep tracking this business to understand overall chemical sector, because this is a leading chemical company in India and has been doing a fantastic job in last 10 years, and we expect the company to do well in next decade as well. That's all for today. I hope that gives you some level of clarity how the sentiments could be and how that could be very far from the reality. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I hope you find it helpful. Catch you very soon. Thank you.